Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So we finally do have some breaking news and exciting news in regards to the X-Men. It says here, according to Daniel RPK, that the Russo Brothers have reportedly signed a new deal with Marvel Studios. They will oversee multiple new upcoming projects, including the X-Men. Marvel have been really accelerating the project of the X-Men, and they're getting prepared for the Mutant Saga because Doomsday and Secret Wars do come out within these next 2 years. And after the Multiverse Saga is over, we go to the Mutant Saga. We even got some details about Kitty Pryde and Gambit getting casted very soon. It says here, also coming from Daniel RPK, that Kitty Pryde and Gambit will be part of the new MCU X-Men team. Marvel Studios is reportedly casting Gambit and Kitty Pryde for the upcoming X-Men reboot. We also do have a few sources claiming that Ayo Edebiri is reportedly being considered by Marvel Studios for the role of Storm in the X-Men reboot film. So it's huge news. Like, if you're telling me that the creators of Infinity War and Endgame are going to be the creators of next X-Men film, that's obviously going to be catching so many people's attention. Currently, right now, the Russo Brothers are working on creating Doomsday and Secret Wars, and they will be filming in a couple of weeks. And throughout this time, like what we have explained, they have reportedly signed a new deal with Marvel that would allow them to oversee the upcoming projects in the Mutant Saga. And most importantly, it's going to be a new X-Men film that they could potentially direct as well. We don't know exactly like the full details on just how much control the Russo Brothers are going to be having in the Mutant Saga. As of now, we just know that they are going to be present for that next saga. We don't know exactly what series or what movies they will be directing and what projects they will be just overseeing. But clearly though, the fact that they are signed in for this brand new saga that will be coming up, it has to be good, because one of the reasons why the Russo Brothers even came back to return for Doomsday and Secret Wars was because they said that they have found an idea that would activate all of us, which is what led towards their return for more Avengers movies. Back in 2019, they said that they would never come back to Marvel and direct another movie again, but here they are with a brand new fresh idea that they just have to make 2 more Avenger projects. And the fact that they have signed up for even more in the saga, whatever storyline they do want to tell, it just has to be something that we have never seen before. And this has to be probably one of the best moves Kevin Feige has made. Obviously, Kevin Feige needs the Russo Brothers. The Russo Brothers do need Kevin Feige. It's a wonderful team up, but it is a smart move, especially on Kevin Feige's part, because if he wants to bridge the Multiverse Saga and the Mutant Saga together, like have great continuity, you do hire the Russo Brothers. Like, for sure, by the end of the Secret Wars film, it is going to give us a great transition to what's going to be coming up next. Probably by that point, in the end of Secret Wars, we will know exactly who is going to be involved in the next X-Men film, like who is going to be casted, who are going to be the main team members, and what the storyline is going to be about. They're setting up the groundwork and a strong foundation, which is going to have all of us so excited. You would assume that because Doomsday and Secret Wars will be created, it's going to be the end of an X-Men storyline or the end of the Avengers, but no, it is just the beginning. These next 10 to 15 years are going to be huge. So for sure, we will be seeing the Russo Brothers conclude the Multiverse Saga with the Doomsday and Secret Wars, then launch the Mutant Saga with an X-Men movie. It's probably not going to be the first project to come out after Secret Wars, maybe the second or third. We'll be talking about how deep they are in this X-Men project in just a few minutes. The Russo Brothers know how to make top team-up movies, because for the first time ever, the MCU is going to be holding 2 different type of team-up movies. One is going to be the Avengers and the other one is going to be the X-Men. It's going to be a 60 to 40% split between the X-Men and the Avenger characters. So the next saga is going to be very X-Men heavy, very mutant heavy. And I believe that because this saga is going to be so special for many of us, because many of us have been waiting to see the X-Men in live action and done correctly, to Kevin Feige, he wants to make sure that the saga is done right. It needs to have a strong beginning, a strong middle, and a strong end. If you look back at the Multiverse Saga and how it began, we started off with WandaVision. It was great, but then we went on to Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It was mid. Black Widow, mid. Loki, great. What If, solid. Shang-Chi, amazing. Eternals, mid. Hawkeye, mid. It was very inconsistent. Now, none of these were like really bad projects. Like, it wasn't like, oh my god, like this is horrible, but it wasn't up to the standards of what Marvel usually does put out. And you cannot have something like this in the beginning of the Mutant Saga when you're first finally introducing the X-Men. Now, going back to the original conversation, we are pretty deep in the X-Men reboot in terms of like the development, because last year it was reported by Deadline that Michael Leslie has landed the gig as the main writer for the X-Men movie. A search for a writer for the X-Men reboot began back in fall 2023, and around that time they were hearing many pitches coming from screenwriters, and they finally landed Michael Leslie back in the summer of 2024. Michael Leslie is the exact same person that worked in The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. It's a prequel movie and is currently one of his biggest hits because of all of the positive reviews. So because they have hired a writer like almost a year ago, this script by now has to be fully cooked and thought out. Now the question is, who will be casted and who is going to be in the movie? It is going to be one of the first few films. I don't believe, once again, it's going to be the first one, but for sure this X-Men film is going to contain a young X-Men team, because if you look at the writer, who is once again Michael Leslie, Marvel chose him due to the fact that he was able to write young characters so well, and he was able to write them really good in a very dystopian type of world, which is basically the X-Men. And I believe that that is the route Kevin Feige and the Russo brothers are going to be taking along with this writer, is a young X-Men team around the age of 22 years old max. And there will be a few older X-Men members like maybe Storm and for sure Professor X and ultimately Magneto. But in terms of like the main X-Men team, they're going to be very young. Michael Leslie knows how to write young characters. And so maybe, I'm just kind of like speculating here, none of this is going to be factual or true, but I'm just speculating. Maybe at its core, it's probably going to be an uncanny X-Men team that deals with the struggle of acceptance, equality, and the survival of mutants in a world that often fears and hates them. So maybe we could see Cyclops, Jean Grey, Beast, Iceman, and Angel in the main X-Men lineup. And of course, like we talked about before, it could also include Kitty Pryde and Gambit. Many have been asking, what about the Wolverine? Like, are we going to be seeing the Wolverine in the first X-Men film? Honestly, I have no idea. And the reason why I'm saying that is because there has been some reports stating that Kevin Feige does not want to have the Wolverine in the first X-Men film, mainly because he doesn't want him to steal the shine away from the other characters, right? Other characters who have not been seen a lot in theaters. We have seen the Wolverine many times played by Hugh Jackman, and he is a scene stealer. But once again, these are not facts. It's just rumors that are going through the media right now. As a matter of fact, I honestly do not think that it would be a great idea to not include the Wolverine in the first X-Men film, because if you just want to make big money, if you want people to come and watch that movie, of course you have to include Hugh Jackman as the Wolverine. It would really be a bold move to say our first X-Men film is not going to be including the Wolverine at all, like whatsoever, until the second film. There's pros and cons to both of those ideas. Like, for example, if you do not include the Wolverine in the first X-Men film, you're going to build up hype for the second X-Men film and say, okay, the Wolverine is coming in that one and everybody's going to want to see that. But then again, why would you not want to start out with your very best team? So as of now, this is going to be the timeline of what we have been hearing in terms of the future of Hugh Jackman and the Wolverine. There have been numerous reports and posts indicating that Marvel Studios wants to keep Hugh Jackman as Wolverine for as long as possible. This was something that was talked about back in October 2024 after the success of Deadpool and Wolverine. Then we have heard some post-Secret Wars plans, and it was rumored that Jackman will continue playing Wolverine even after Avengers Secret Wars. This was also reported back on August 2024. So the Wolverine played by Hugh Jackman could be in Deadpool 4. He could also be in a X-Men film. He can also be in his own solo film. Who knows? The possibilities are endless now with Fox being fully bought by the MCU. It was also reported back on July 2024 that Kevin Feige, the president of Marvel Studios, also acknowledged that the challenge of recasting Wolverine after Jackman is really big. He did emphasize that any new actor taking on the role would need to do something in a very different style from Jackman's iconic portrayal. So right now there are no immediate plans for recasting. Also keep in mind that if you go back to the movie of Deadpool and Wolverine, there is a scene where they are both inside a restaurant and you can see Wolverine saying, "Fuck the Avengers," basically giving us a hint that there is a big storyline between the Avengers and the Wolverine that is played by Hugh Jackman. So it's almost like a setup for the future, for what's to come. So that is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.